Salut à tous les amis, on est de retour pour la suite de Noire. On s'est arrêté ici dans cette zone. Au milieu, enfin au milieu. Sur une enquête quoi, tout simplement. Le début d'une enquête qu'on n'a pas commencé encore d'ailleurs. Allez, let's go.
Do you have any idea what is really going on while we're wasting our time following this stuff?
Are you going to tell me?
The deals being done right now will change the face of LA forever, and we're wasting our time on some pump.
There goes a week's wages.
Someone's little girl.
Visit the morgue at the end of the month when the John and Jane Does are cremated. Their percentages. The odds for and against lightning striking.
Any available unit, the 44 suspect to be taken into custody at Sunset and Ivar. Unit to handle code 2 identified.
Second floor, apartment 6, in the back.
Thanks.
Appartement au fond du couloir. Bon, accès en haut alors. Ah, ça y est, c'est ouvert en plus.
Bukowski, you made homicide.
That I did. Good to see you, Phelps.
You two want a hug? Or can we get on with it?
Relax, Rusty.
26 years old, fashion model. Found in the tub by the cleaning lady, Mrs. Reynoldson. She called it in.
We heard Carruthers thinks...
Carruthers likes to make work for people. Overdose of sleeping pills. Falls asleep in the tub. Rest in peace. Case closed.
Here, here. Mal is 100% that it's murder.
Do you mind if I take a look around?
Sure. Go right ahead.
Mm-hmm.
This is all top end of town stuff. Gives us somewhere to look.
Ok, y'a rien.
Been a modeling assignment.
Ah.
It's a place to start.
Ok.
Beautiful girl. Clothes certainly aren't from the Sears catalog.
Ok, y'a rien. On s'en fout de ça.
Incidental.
Phelps?
Mal, we've had a look around. Rusty thinks it's a waste of time. What's your theory?
Come on, Mal. Tell us why we were dragged down here.
If the victim was alive when she entered the tub, water would have entered her lungs. The water is violently churned in the windpipe as she drowns. The result is that a lot of foam is generated. This foam is found at the mouth and nostrils in almost all cases of real drowning. Notice anything about our Vic?
May I took a look?
Be my guest.
Alors.
Take a closer look at her head and neck.
The neck is bruised pretty badly. bruising on the forearms, and these look like bite marks.
Very good.
Mhm.
Very unusual ring.
Could be wrong, but it looks like a black sapphire. The eyes are a classic sign of morphine, and the bruises tell their own story. I think one man held her down, and another held her arm and injected her. They put her in the bath to try to cover it as a drowning.
It spread a trail of barbiturates.
Take a look around outside on your way out and see if you can find the syrettes. It would make my theory.
And morphine would have been very quick, and there wouldn't have been much of a struggle.
Okay, so find two guys who recently bought syrettes and weren't junkies, and you might be onto something.
Mhm.
This is her. Pretty girl like that. Maybe she's having trouble with the boys, huh? Maybe she got her heart broken. Couldn't take it anymore. So she ran herself a bath, down some pills, and then she just...
Looks like barbiturates.
Okay.
Barbiturates. What else is rattling around in this thing?
Ah, on prend le truc, il y a encore autre chose à fouiller.
We should speak to her doctor. Prescribing both drugs would make her life a roller coaster.
Ok.
Quality English smoking jacket. I don't know anyone under 45 who would wear one.
Mhm. J'ai réfléchi s'il y a autre chose. Bon.
I'm Detective Phelps. I'm here to try and help Julia. Do you mind answering some questions?
Virginia Reynoldson, I'm just so shocked. I feel like there's something I should be doing, someone I should call.
We can make those calls, ma'am. Who needs to be notified?
That's just it. I don't know. Miss Julie doesn't have any family in town. Someone has to set her affairs in order. Mr. Henderson, maybe? Who else is there? I don't know.
If you give the details to the other detectives, ma'am, they can try and get in contact. Was Miss Randall depressed about something? Upset?
No more than normal.
Would she have killed herself for a man?
Miss Julie would never have killed herself. She was a very determined young lady. One of those people who shake the tree for all it's worth.
Did Miss Randall have many friends, is it?
I'm not sure. I only come around twice a week.
Why are you lying to me, Mrs. Reynoldson? Julia had men stay here.
I will not speak ill of the dead. You can't prove that.
Hmm.
That's a terrible insult to Miss Julia's honor and her memory. She's not even in the ground yet. You should be ashamed.
Je fais n'importe quoi.
What was it like working for Miss Randall?
Perfectly fine, officer.
Mrs. Reynoldson, it seems like there's something you want to tell me.
She was very high-strung. Lovely one moment and screaming at you the next. She wanted it all, and she wanted it damn quick. Of course, being so beautiful, it seemed like she was going to get it. Not the way it's turned out, though, is it?
I know you're trying to protect Julia, Mrs. Reynoldson, but it won't help us solve the case. Julia can't be hurt anymore. Stefan, Rusty, we'll take a look around outside and then follow up these leads. Can you get some guys to run down the jacket?
You think Carruthers has called it right?
He rarely gets it wrong.
I don't know.
Allez, go.
Are you crazy?
Bukowski, Galloway,
Okay.
quite a little reunion in there. Almost brought a tear to my eye.
They're good police.
How would you know? You got promoted so fast you barely had time to learn their names. Let me fill you in. Bukowski's a pushover. Galloway's a drunk.
You could learn a thing or two from both of them.
Please. They couldn't work a vice case if their life depended on it.
I don't see why they'd be any better or worse at it than me.
I noticed you said better. Hubris disguised as humility. Kind of your trademark, don't you think?
Why do you always twist everything? Galloway's got nothing to prove. He's been on homicide for years.
And he's welcome to it. You're a terrier, Phelps, and that's what I need. Not some old bulldog who can't get up a flight of stairs without coughing up his lunch.
If I don't get this finished, I'm blaming you.
Non. Non. Mais qu'est-ce que vous verrez ici? Oh, j'ai même pas vu la personne.
LAPD, ma'am.
I hope I haven't done anything wrong.
No, ma'am. We're making some inquiries about Julia Randall. Does she work here?
No, I had to let her go. Is she in some sort of trouble?
She was found dead this morning. How long had Julia worked as a model?
Well, she worked in New York before coming here. She was a very beautiful girl.
Could you tell us why you let Miss Randall go?
Husbands sometimes come in here with their wives. When Julia Randall modeled, the husbands were often more interested in her than they were their wives' dresses. The wives weren't happy, and neither was I.
Did she have any close friends here?
Actually, yes. Heather Swanson. Would you like to speak with her?
I'd like that very much. Please don't inform her about Miss Randall's death.
Very well, officer. Heather, these gentlemen are from the LAPD.
I'm Detective Phelps. This is Detective Earl. I understand that you worked with Julia Randall, Miss Swanson?
Yes. Julia helped me get my job here. She's not in any kind of trouble, is she?
She's a hellraiser, isn't she? Lives a fast life.
Oh, no. Maybe Mrs. Stanley would call her that, but I wouldn't. She's full of life, wonderful company.
That's a lovely engagement ring.
Do you like it? Henry gave it to
I'm
me.
very interested in engagement rings. Do you mind if I take a closer look? That's some pearl, Miss Swanson. Would have cost Henry a fortune. He must really love you. did you meet Julia?
I was introduced through my fiancé, Henry Arnett.
Henry is your beau. Tell us about it.
Yes, he is. Henry has a fashion business. He and Julia have been friends for years.
Are Miss Randall and Mr. Henderson engaged?
Who's he?
She was wearing a sapphire engagement ring. Someone must have given it to her.
She never mentioned a man named Henderson to me.
That's all for now, Miss Swanson. Could you ask your fiancé to visit Hollywood Police Station? It would be very helpful to our inquiry.
Now, wait a moment. I don't think I'll pass on that message until you tell me why you're asking all these questions.
Julia Randall was found dead this morning.
What? Oh, no. Oh, I can't believe it. She was so full of life.
Nice move not telling old Sweet Lips in there about her friend taking the big jump till we were half out the door. Very slick.
I figured we'd get more out of her that way.
You're learning, Phelps. We'll make a vice cop out of you yet.
This seems like a good time for the siren, don't you think?
Police Center unit. Citizen reports suspicious activity on a trolley car on Fountain Avenue. Stand by for further information. Any Central unit.
I swear, if we locked up every doctor in this town, Vice would be able to work half days.
Yes, sir, your name?
LAPD. We'd like to see Dr. Stoneman.
Dr. Stoneman is with a patient. Would you like to wait?
No, we wouldn't. Tell him we want to see him now.
There's no need to be rude.
Save it, sister.
Dr. Stoneman, I have some gentlemen from the LAPD here to see you.
Send them in, please. I'll see this patient again after they've left.
Your investigation is much more important than mine.
Dr. Stoneman, we are investigating the death of one of your patients, Julia Randall.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
Do you mind if we ask you some questions about Ms. Randall?
Not if it doesn't compromise doctor-patient privilege, Detective.
How well did you know Miss Randall?
Fairly at all. She'd only been a patient 6 months or so.
You didn't like her, did you?
It wasn't a question of like, Detective. She was incredibly beautiful. When you looked in her eyes, you knew how a mouse felt before a snake. Not an ounce of warmth there.
You wrote Julia Randall a prescription for Benzedrine. How can you account for that?
Miss Randall was in the fashion business. She wanted to control her weight.
We believe Miss Randall died of an overdose of morphine. You didn't prescribe her anything else, did you?
That is a very serious allegation to level at a doctor, young man. I am well aware of what is prescribed under the Harrison Act, Detective. If you wish to make any other ridiculous accusations, I suggest you direct them to my attorney.
Oh, no.
We often find the more obstructive people tend to be, Dr. Stoneman, the more they have to hide.
Not everything here is going to be relevant. Don't think this is anything.
Y a pas de téléphone là? Ah si.
Operator, message for KGPL.
Putting you through now.
Phelps, badge 1247.
How could I help, Detective?
Messages for me, please.
Yes, Detective. The coroner's been asking to speak to you. I can connect the call if you like.
Please, thank you. Al?
Cole, can you get over here? I just finished the autopsy.
Sure thing, Mal. We'll be right over.
Okay.
The old boy's lying.
About what?
I don't know. He looked relieved when you said she was dead. That's a strange reaction to have to the death of a young patient. Have you noticed how croakers only pull out the physician-patient privilege card when they got something to hide?
There are certain things people have a right to keep private.
Until it gets in the way of police work. And it's only private when it suits them. A couple of drinks and every doctor I've met... Christ!
Detectives Phelps and Earl here to see the coroner.
Yes, Detective. He's waiting for you in the examination room.
Cole, Roy, I have some information for you.
You're the only person enjoying this, Mal. Get on with it.
The bruising confirms 2 sets of hands, so we have 2 killers. Death was caused by heart failure due to an overdose of morphine.
Have you dragged us down here to gloat? We already heard your theory.
We agree that she was murdered.
Yes, of course.
I have something else to show you.
All right, Mal, what gives?
The dead guy's name is Jimmy LeBlanc, career burglar. He came in this morning. Someone stove his head in with a lump of 2x4.
So what? Good riddance.
I found 2 cigarettes in his jacket pocket.
Wow.
Hang on a minute, Roy. We're listening now.
No sign of morphine use and no metabolized morphine in his blood. Scratch marks on his face.
Which could be from getting his head remodeled.
Time of death, Mal.
Maybe an hour or 2 after the Randall girl.
So you're saying Laughing Boy here could be one of our killers? That's a hell of a long shot.
Thanks, Mal. We'll check it out.
I found something else.
Sorry, I don't play.
I don't know if it's significant. His wallet was empty. The only other things he was carrying were the harmonica and the morphine. Carruthers. Yeah, he's here. I'll send him over. They have a guy called Henry Arnett in interview 2 for you next door. Let me know how you get on.
Sure, Mal. And thanks for the lead.
Sure, Mel. Thanks for the lead.
Et je suis con, le commissariat il est juste là. Je prends la bagnole pour rien. Room 2, c'est ça?
Arnett is in interview too, Phelps.
Oui, je sais, laisse-moi chercher.
Mouthpiece for script off me at the grand jury. Case got thrown out. Now the DA wants my head.
Sous le room 2 déjà, frérot. J'ai oublié.
Is interview 2 free? No way. The vice boys get any on the side?
J'ai oublié ce qu'il est la salle d'interrogation.
Anyone seen where Miss Wells went? That's correct. You not see why I hate this city? That's correct.
Ah, voilà.
Mr. Arnett, I'm Detective Phelps. This is Detective Earl. Thanks for coming in.
Call me Henry. It's the least I could do. Terrible news.
You need me to sign some papers or something?
How well did you know Julia Randall?
Vaguely. I'm in the clothing business, and Julia occasionally modeled for
Can I see my cousin? No.
me. And you were close? We were friends.
I'm no Yankee. I scat the scratch.
Miss Randall's landlady said she was seeing an older man.
Could have been. I wasn't privy to all the details of Julia's private life.
Were you at home last Saturday?
Spill it, Henry. You know nothing about a man named Henderson?
Yes, you're right. Henderson, yeah. Very distinguished.
How about a first name, wise guy? An address, maybe?
I'm sorry, I don't. I think he lives somewhere out of town. Somewhere back east.
Do I need to find someone to look after me now?
Ever heard of a Jimmy LeBlanc?
No. Should I have? Is he an entertainer or something?
Where's a phone?
I think you're lying. I think Randall was a high-priced hooker, and this Henderson character didn't want it to come out that he had been seeing her. I think he had LeBlanc and an accomplice bump her off. I think you know who Henderson is, and you're trying to conceal his identity.
I think you've been out in the sun too long without your hat. Prove that I know who Henderson is.
Is there any newspapers to read while awake? No entiendo. Can you bring me the file? You been to my house?
Sorry. Sometimes you have to shake the tree to see what falls out. So you wouldn't have any reason to believe that LeBlanc would be involved in Julie Randall's murder?
If this guy is a criminal, he might have been involved. But, like I said, I've never heard of this LeBlanc.
Je fais que foirer mon truc, c'est un truc de ouf.
Heather told us
Ah
that
là là.
fashion.
That's right.
He ran the light on Olympic, and we finally collared him on a temp.
I didn't know about the insurance money I'd taken. I ain't talking to
Some
you.
kind of traveling salesman?
Once I got out of the Corps, I used my...
You were in the Marines?
Sure. I'm proud of it. Fighting 6th.
You were in the 6th Marines?
Yes. I was a captain.
Which company?
Various companies. We had a lot of casualties.
Which engagements?
Okinawa. A couple of other places.
That will be all for now, Henry. You've been very helpful.
That son of a bitch was never in the Marines. Why'd you let him off the hook?
Because we're giving him a couple of minutes before we start tailing him. Arnett is an amateur. We need to find out who killed the girl. Can you pass this on to Bukowski? Have him check the place out and go through his records.
Sure, I'll pass it on.
Thanks. Can you also have R&I run the records on a Jimmy LeBlanc and find out who was his last arresting officer? Have them get in touch via KGPL when they have some information.
He's in that car at the lights. He was squirming like a worm in there. Don't you love it when they pull the war hero excuse? Actually, maybe you don't.
I'd have expected a cad like Arnett to be a better liar.
Where are you taking us, Henry?
Je parle pas trop, là, c'est que de la... On fait que le suivre. Hein.
That idiot never stepped foot in Okinawa.
Où est-ce qu'il va?
He needs money and fast. Get in there and find out what he pawned. I'll stick with him, see how he intends to spend the money. Too much slack. Gotta get closer.
Hoof it, Phelps. I'll bring the car around when I'm done here.
Move in. Can't risk losing the trail.
Okay.
Too much slack. Gotta get closer. That's right, Mexico City. One-way ticket, please. Next available seat.
That would be 1 day from now. Is that okay?
It's going to have to be. LAPD, the man who just came in here, he bought a ticket?
Yes, sir. To Mexico City, tomorrow night.
If you hear from him again, don't mention this conversation.
What have you got?
He bought a ticket from Mexico City. Tomorrow night.
That's good. But this is better.
Oh my God. It's Fabergé.
Should have seen the look on the pawnbroker's face when I told him to hand it over. The guy who owned the joint thought it was worth at least 10 large for a cigarette case. Our net only got 600 clams.
Okay.
Car 11K, 11 King, come in.
Go ahead, KGPL.
11K, go to Hollywood Station. Homicide detectives Bukowski and Galloway have information relating to the Randall case.
Roger, KGPL. 11K, en route.
Car 11K, car 11 King, come in.
Car 11 King, go ahead.
Operator, give me dispatch.
Putting you through now.
Phelps, badge 1247.
How could I help, Detective?
Any luck with the arrest record check on Jimmy LeBlanc?
Yes, Detective. Jimmy LeBlanc's last arresting officer was Patrolman Fred Wallace. He's posted the Hollywood 9th Beat Sunset Boulevard between Gordon and Wilcox.
Thank you.
Okay.
A one-way ticket to Mexico. Old Henry's looking as guilty as a dog next to a pile of dog shit.
What's his motive?
I can think of a few, but I'd put my money south of the belt. One guy plus 2 dames always equals problems.
Any Central unit of 484 just occurred, 3155 West 4th Street. Unit to handle code 3, identify.
Et il est long, elle est noire, hein, je vous avais prévenu. Hein. Il y aura une dizaine de vidéos sur le jeu.
I hope you got some money
Il
saved
dure
up.
entre 15 et 20 heures de jeu à peu près.
This car cost me a fortune, you moron.
Sir, I need the contraband list. Items stolen over the last year.
Hang on, I'll dig out a copy for you. Here you go.
Thanks.
Is the cigarette case on there?
You need me to sign some papers or something?
We wanted to move in together when we're not even married.
Seems Julia wasn't the first bored society girl to hide her bennies in that pillbox.
Say, do you fellas need me to stick around much longer? No way. Nope.
It's here. Arnett must be out of his mind trying to move this while under a murder cloud.
Is the captain in? That's correct.
Julia Randall's ring. It's here.
Do I need to fill this out?
Ouais.
You know anything about this mess?
Mouthpiece tore strips off me at the grand jury. Case was thrown out, and the DA wants my head.
Even the engagement ring was purloined. Arnett is a cad.
Can you bring me the file?
Ok.
His pal needs a bit. What do you say?
There goes a week's wages.
Any in the vicinity officer needs assistance, 1825 North Highland Avenue, 1825 North Highland Avenue. Unit to handle code to identify.
C'est long comme enquête, hein, je suis désolé, mais... Ok.
Oh no, 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 no!
Ah, si.
You did not just do that. Christ alive, this is a nightmare!
Come on, let's give him a hand. Right behind you, Wallace. Detective Phelps.
Wallace, go left. I'm going right after this little prick in the alley.
Ta tête, enfoiré.
Take cover, you lunatic! Reinforcements are on the way. Pretty brave for a dead man.
Et montre-toi.
I got you now, motherfucker.
Une autre gueule.
Throw out the guns. Get behind something, Phelps.
Weapons on the ground, now!
Je te vois.
You're pretty brave for a dead man.
Yo, con. C'est bon.
Thanks. Outstanding warrant, armed robbery. Knocked over a drugstore back there, and it looks like he brought his whole posse with him. Bad luck for them. They're all yours now. We need some information.
Ever heard of a burglar goes by the name of Jimmy LeBlanc?
Sure. We nabbed Jimmy on a burglary beef a couple of years back. They cut through a music shop and into a jewelry store. He got 4 years. He missed his partner, though.
His partner?
Big guy. I had him cornered, and he picked up this huge display case and threw it out a plate glass window. Then he vaulted out of there like something out of Barnum and Bailey.
Got away.
I would have had him, except for LeBlanc yelling, "Run for it, Willie!"
And you think he was an acrobat of some sort?
More like a strongman, a wrestler, or a boxer, that kind of thing.
Thanks. You've been a big help.
You haven't done too badly yourself. You're suggesting LeBlanc is still working with Willie?
A strong man held down Randall while someone administered the morphine. Someone with muscle opened up LeBlanc's skull. Could be.
En tout cas, j'espère que cette aventure vous plaît. Hein. En tout cas, demain, je pense qu'on entamera une nouvelle aventure. Et après-demain, il y aura encore une nouvelle aventure. Donc, on va lancer 2 jeux ce week-end. Enfin, demain et après-demain, quoi. Et après, on reprendra la suite de Les Noirs. Ouch!
Look where you're going!
Il y aura la suite de Kunai aussi. Si on arrive à avancer. Et voilà quoi.
Nice house.
LAPD, ma'am. Is Mrs. Eavestrom in?
She is. Would you follow me, sir?
I am Mrs. Eavestrom. How may I help you?
We appear to have recovered some stolen goods that belong to you, ma'am.
Yes, of course. That terrible burglary. Would you like something to drink?
No, thank you, ma'am. We have some questions, if you don't mind.
Why would I mind, young man? If you are returning 43 pieces of my property.
Okay, before we get down to that, I'll have a scotch. Thanks, straight up.
Maria, can you get the detective a drink, please?
Can you describe to us what was stolen?
It would be easier to describe what wasn't stolen, Detective. A priceless tiara that has been in the family for 50 years. A Fabergé cigarette case that was worth $25,000.
So you have no idea who did this burglary? A lot of these cases tend to be inside jobs.
How dare you impugn my character and the character of my staff? If you have no further questions, I suggest you leave.
What can you tell us about the burglary?
That terrible night, at least a year ago. But let's not go into that. Let's talk about what you've recovered.
Were you in the house when the burglary took place?
Good heavens, no. I was at a social function held by a Dr. Harold Stoneman and his lovely wife. I returned home and all of my things were missing.
That's about it for now, Mrs. Eavestrom. The department will get in touch and let you know how you can recover your valuables.
You have only mentioned a few of the items that have been stolen, Detective. What else has been recovered?
You see, Phelps? That's why you get the drinks in early.
Hello, Mother. Hello, detectives. What is going on?
We'd like to ask exactly the same question.
You have met my daughter?
This morning at work. Oh, mother and father divorced. I took my father's name.
The detectives recovered some of the things that were stolen, darling.
Well, what did you find?
A sapphire ring on the corpse of Julia Randall.
What are you talking about?
Your engagement ring, Miss Swanson. Would you be surprised to know that it was part of the proceeds of a burglary?
That's an outrageous allegation.
Yes, it is. I suggest we go straight to Henry Arnett's place and sort this mess out.
Enlist now at your nearest U.S. Army recruiting station. Starting Saturday.
missing something here. Arnett is obviously arranging the burglaries.
That's my fiance you're making scurrilous accusations about.
And Randall was obviously his partner.
But neither of them are the type to creep apartments.
You're being ridiculous. Both of you. There's a very good explanation for all of this.
What is socking it, sister? You're being played for a patsy and you're not even smart enough to see it.
You're paying for every last scratch.
Il est long le direct de trajet, disons. Wow. Il est fou lui. Décidément. On n'en voit pas le bout là. Mais il habite à l'autre bout de la ville ou c'est quoi le problème? Allez.
What are you doing?
J'essaie d'avancer.
Come on, sister. Let's find out who your fiancé really is.
Welcome, sir. I'm sorry, are you a resident?
LAPD detectives. We're here to speak to Henry Arnett.
Oh, Mr. Arnett? Apartment 30. You can take the lift.
Thank you.
Well, isn't this just nice and awkward?
Trop tard.
Stop! LAPD! Don't kill him, Cole. This guy's our case.
Go on, get out. Put your hands in the air.
Give it up, LAPD!
Non. Non.
Looks like he got you good, Phelps.
Yeah, he really packs a wallop. How'd I get back here?
Under your own steam, miraculously. He came in through the window, said hello, and then keeled over.
How was Arnett?
He's coming around, too. He's all hopped up. Good time to get some answers.
You missing something, Henry? You told Heather you're honeymooning without her? Vacheron Constantine. That's an extremely expensive watch, Henry. A graduation present from my parents. We know all about the jewelry ring. You and Randall and LeBlanc and Willie doing the legwork.
I'm in the fashion business.
Your office is empty and you're behind on the rent.
Times are tough.
Why did Reed and LeBlanc kill Julia Randall?
I wanted to stop, to get out of that life. I was gonna marry Heather if she'd have me. Julia told the others that they were out, that she was gonna create a new gang.
You wanted Julia Randall out of your life.
Why would he want that? Julia was our friend.
Julia was his hump, sweetheart. They were the Bonnie and Clyde of society burglars. He met you and realized he didn't have to steal anymore. He could just mooch from you. He needed Julia out of the way.
Julia was insatiable. She didn't care about anyone, not the least me. She was never going to go back to the poverty she came from. I wanted it to stop.
Who is Henderson and what is his involvement?
Tell them what you know, Henry. I'll stand by you if you'll only tell the truth.
There is no Henderson.
Tell me about your first burglary, and don't lie.
I can't remember. I don't keep a list of these things.
Your first burglary was a Dr. Harold Stoneman. You want to explain how he is involved, or shall I?
Henderson is Stoneman. He was crazy about Julia. She could get him to do whatever she wished. He threw the parties, and we arranged the burglaries. Julia never let him touch her. She just kept him hanging on the promise. It drove the good doctor almost insane.
Henry Arnett, you are under arrest for burglary and for the murder of Julia Randall.
Henderson is Stoneman, all right? I'm not the guy you want. Go talk to the good doctor.
Oh, we will, knucklehead. Meanwhile, we're fitting you for convict stripes.
Ok. C'est une longue enquête, hein.
I guess the wedding's off.
He only robbed her mother and killed her best friend. Cut the guy some slack.
So how does the doctor fit in?
That's what we're about. Open your eyes! That's what we're about to find out.
Ouah, sérieux là?
To give you a quick once-over. That meathead gave you one hell of a pasting.
I've had worse.
You should have seen yourself staggering back in there like a drunken sailor.
Next time you can take the runner, Roy.
I didn't box in the Marines, though, did I?
I should have never told you that. Time for the doctor to give us something to make this all better.
Hang on a moment, sister. Tell him it's Henry Arnett. And tell him it's urgent.
I can't do that.
Tell him, or I'll charge you with obstruction of justice.
Doctor, I'm afraid Mr. Arnett is here to see you, and he says it's urgent.
Send him in.
I told you never to come.
Tell us the truth, Doctor.
I'm so glad you came. Prison will be better than insanity, and I'm already half insane with grief. Do you know that I loved her? I ruined my life for her, and yet I still love her.
Will you testify in court that Arnett and Randall did these robberies?
They organized the robberies. Julie would get the names of the guests attending my wife's parties. Didn't matter how much money I showered upon her, it was never enough. She never really cared for me.
Doctor, I'm afraid you're under arrest.
The practice. You'll call Dr. Gerard. No. Please don't cry. I want to see no one. Not my wife or my children, nor my friends. And I don't want a lawyer. Just lock me up and throw away the key. What have I done?
J'en étais sûr qu'il allait le faire. Ah, j'en étais sûr.
Didn't see that coming.
Bah, la fenêtre est ouverte, c'était logique. Hein.
Operator, give me R&I.
Putting you through now.
I need an ambulance and the coroner immediately to the offices of Dr. Harold Stoneman, 1646 Ivor Street, Hollywood.
En route, Detective. You have a message. Detective Bukowski says the suspect is named Wilson Willie the Wolf Reed, former wrestler. Last known address is an apartment building at the corner of Hollywood and Vine. Detective Bukowski says to meet them there.
On our way.
Ok.
We have an address for the runner.
Let's try and wrap this up then.
Bon, je pense qu'on va bientôt s'arrêter là, les amis. Hein. Cette enquête, elle est un peu longue, hein, quand même.
That old boy really fell for that broad.
She was incredibly beautiful.
Would you throw it all away for a woman?
Life has a way of making you pay for your pride.
You're quite the romantic, Phelps. Stick with the percentages. Broken hearts are for chumps.
You're talking from experience.
I certainly am. Oh, I like women as much as the next guy. As long as they're in their place and doing what they're told.
Bon les amis, je pense qu'on va s'arrêter là pour cette partie de Les Noirs. J'espère que ça vous a plu. Likez, partagez, vous abonnez à la chaîne évidemment. Et on se retrouvera pour la prochaine fois. Ciao, bye bye.